This Saturday, 3 p.m., St. James's Park, Newcastle United versus Wolves. Will the Magpies get their season up and running with a win? Let's find out right here on Toon Tactics TV, folks.
Oh, brilliant from Shea. And now Murphy could take on the shot. Fabian Shea win!
Good evening, folks. And as always, a massive blessing to be on here with you guys, talking about all things Newcastle United. And as right from the beginning, from the chat, always a blessing to see people in there, as always. And guys, you could have been anywhere in the world doing anything else, but you chose here to be here with me, and I am blessed. And I hope you guys are blessed and having a fantastic evening. And whatever you're doing, wherever you are, let me know in the chat. Let me know where you guys are listening from, whatever you're doing. It will be an absolute blessing to know. And always already got Adrian Pickett here. God bless you, Adrian, saying, evening, Philip, had a chance to refurbish your cables. You know what? I did the 2 testers just before I started the show. It's partly why I'm a bit late, because I was just doing testers, saying, is the mic working? I hope the mic is working. I hope right now, as I'm talking, you guys can hear me, because when I did the testers, it was fine. Do let me know in the chat otherwise, though. So I'm trying not to touch any wires. One day, by the grace of God, when the channel grows and we have, thank you, Adrian. I don't know, maybe I have a studio of my own. I can laugh about these days and tell you guys, remember the days when the mic didn't work and my camera wouldn't work and the guests would just have to take over the show, then you guys have to take over the show and wait for me to fix it. I'm really praying that we can look back at these moments and talk about things in that way. So yeah, glad it sounds good, Adrian. Appreciate you for that. Thank you. Davey, always a blessing to see you, sir. Good evening, Philip. God bless you, Davey. Good to see you. And guys, I'm so looking forward to today's show, because as I was saying before, it's just like finally we're just doing Toon Tactics. We're doing like tactical breakdowns for games and talking about football. And even just like, you don't know what a relief it was just doing that. Like, honestly, with everything that's been going on in the world and just like, and other things, trivial things in terms of football transfers and everything else, just preparing even for the show, like doing thinking about how can Newcastle beat Wolves, what would Eddie Howe do, and studying things, like it was just like I don't know, maybe because of all the things going on, all the crazy things going on in the world, I was just relieved to be like to just be doing football talk. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but honestly, I am feeling I'm really looking forward to tonight's show. We're going to be doing like I mentioned, we're going to be doing the tactical breakdown of Newcastle versus Wolves this Saturday. I'm going to be I'm going to be focusing a little bit more on how Newcastle, in a certain phase of play around low blocks. How can Newcastle break down Wolves' low blocks? We'll talk about other things given the overall state of things, forms and stuff like that. But I do anticipate that Wolves there'll be times, at least maybe more than less, where we'll be pinning Wolves back. And can we, what can Newcastle do to break down that low block? What can we get? How can we kind of what other things can Newcastle do? So we're going to be talking a lot about that, and hopefully, if we've got time to at the end of the show, we won't just do predictions for the Newcastle Wolves game, but we'll do a little bit of predictions for the games that are happening across the Premier League on this Saturday as well, if we've got a little bit of time to do that. So I'm super looking forward to it, and good to see my man Mitch from Where the Hour Sleep. Big up Philip, big up the chat. Hit those likes, folks. Yes, we've got 9 folks viewing live at the moment. Let's I'm still going to say let's break the 10 barrier. Somehow, with 9 viewers, we're going to break the 10 likes value because our conversion rate is that good. So let's do it. let's kick things off and let's get ourselves, as my man Mitch said, let's hit those likes, folks. And he also says, extremely excited for this game. We need a big SJP performance, and that's exactly it. And when I was doing and of course the camera has to go off. When I was doing the match breakdown, when I was doing the preview, I was thinking the same thing. Like, it's going to be so important in terms of how the the performance is going to be key, especially 5 days away from 5 days away from the Barcelona game. But the performance is going to be key. But the win is, is going to be just as crucial. Mike and everything else is going funny, but we're gonna work through it. We're gonna work with it, and yeah, we're gonna get this camera on and working at some point. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the chat. Good to see Sophie. Good to see Sophie. God bless you. Welcome, Sophie. Hope you're well. Let's let's see if I can get the camera working. But yeah, like I said, I'm going to be focusing a little bit on. Do I want to start here? Let me first talk about Wolves as going into this game before I do the tactical breakdown. I did want to. Not letting me. It's not letting me do the camera, as always. Funny thing. All right, let me see what I can do. Just one moment, folks. All right. All right. So hopefully we'll get ourselves back online and see how things go. Right. So let me just do a quick yes. And Sophie says, smash them likes, folks. Appreciate you for that, Sophie. Get into the tactical breakdown on things and we look at it, kind of how to break down Newcastle, can look at the can break down the low block. I wanted to first look at Wolves and look at our game going forward, what kind of form we're both going into. So let me share the screen with you guys. Make sure you guys can see that. Yes, you can on SofaScore. Now, SofaScore's lineup for Newcastle isn't what my predicted lineup is. So I'm curious to see what you guys' lineup is going to be going into this game. Let me just scroll down. Where is it? Here we go. So they've got Wolves in a 3-4-3. I think it's a bit of a 3-5-2 as well. And I think they do go into a 4-5-1 when they're defending, as well as a 5-4-1 when they really have to defend. And as I saw them play against Man City in that same way. So what you see, obviously, as you guys always know, just because you see it laid out like this, it doesn't mean, nice and neatly. It doesn't mean that's how they're going to play. So I do, like I was saying, I do anticipate that that we'll be up against a low block for most of the time. I'm going to be focusing on that when we're talking as well. Now, SofaScore got Botman playing. I don't see us that they kind of got us in a 3-4-3 or maybe a 3-5-2. Or 3-4, 3-4. Yeah, they got us in a 3-4-3 really. I don't think we're going to be doing that. I think we're going to stick to the 4-3-3 formation. Let me know what you guys think. I think we're going to stay that way. And I don't think it'll be Botman that's going to be playing. Let me know what you guys think. I think we're going to have a 4-3-3. I think we're going to see Bruno Tonali and Joe Linton play across. A little bit of a spoiler coming our way. But let me just, if we talk about Wolves for a minute, if we just focus on Wolves, I'm going to, because I do have their form going into this game, which isn't the greatest, shall I say. It isn't the greatest. they've got, let me just see, make sure you guys can see that. Here we go. Right, so from Man City, which was their opening game, they've lost 3 games, and I think they've won one against West Ham. No, they lost. They lost all 3 games. They didn't play West Ham. They lost all 3 games. And did they beat West Ham or not? Why have they got West Ham as with points here? No, Wolves beat West Ham. So why haven't they given them 3 points? That's weird. They did give them 3 points. Oh, they do have the 3 points. So why have Newcastle got 3 points? We drew against. We played Villa, drew against Villa, drew against Leeds, lost against Liverpool. Because we drew against. This table's funny. Why can't I remember the 4th game for Newcastle? Who did Newcastle play? Who did Newcastle play? Why have we got 3 points? I forgot who we played last time, guys. Do you guys remember? Why have we got 3 points? Leeds, Liverpool, Villa. Who did we draw? Why have we got 3 points on this? No, that's 3 games, 2 points. And Wolves have got 0 points. They lost all 3 of their games. So why have they got them beating West Ham? That is weird. Is that the League Cup? That's the League Cup. That's why. Sorry, guys, I got myself confused there. I'm like, how have we got 2 points? Yeah. And Wolves have got no points, right? So they beat West Ham. No, they lost. Yeah, they beat West Ham in the League Cup. That's the League Cup, right? Sorry, I was confused for a minute. So they've got 3 losses in a row, that being Wolves. And if you look at their stats, just going into the game, 3 matches, and you have to be taken with a pinch of salt. It's only 3 matches, but still, 3 matches, 2 goals scored, and 8 goals conceded, which isn't great. So if you look at it, goals per game, they're about 0.7, which shows that they're likely to score. But there are also goals against around 2 points something. Yet, so they're likely to concede about more than 2 goals as well. 3 games, it's 3 games gone, so you're not going to take two. I'm not going to take too much from it anyway. The game was refreshed by the noodles, and not I know. Ball possession is below 50% at 47, which is fine. Again, they played Man City in that time, and they played Everton. I'm not going to take too much from it, but in terms of attacking, how have they been attacking? Goals from inside the box. They scored both their goals from inside the box. They're getting about 2.7 shots on target per game, so nearly 3 shots on target per game. So they are being creative. They're getting about 3 shots blocked. They're trying about nearly 4.3 dribbles per game, and so they don't have too much of the ball really. It's not been easy for them. 0 clean sheets. Goals conceded per game 2.7, so nearly 3 goals per game. Obviously, 8 goals conceded so far this season. 23 tackles per game, about 8 interceptions per game. Errors leading to a shot, 2. Errors leading to a goal, 2. So they've got a really shaky start at the moment. Below 50% for their ground duels, 1. It's coming across as underwhelming. And like I said, the only live game I saw for Wolves has been the Man City game. And obviously, Man City won that game 4-0. They slowly broke down Wolves, especially in their middle, especially their centre midfield. It just gave way. And if that happens at St James's Park, it will be a long day for them. I don't anticipate it will. I think they are better than what they've been performing. So let's talk about it before we kind of go too deeply into it. But I am curious to see what you guys think in terms of what you guys think would be the starting lineup for Newcastle as well. Good to see Martin Bland. Oh, just before I get into that, other messages. Where Mitch says, "Don't stress, Philip. It's because we don't have to worry about that round of our." Yeah. That's it. That's true. I'm not used to that. I'm not used to that at all. Martin Bland, good to see you, sir. God bless you. Great to have you, sir. Um, Good to see Gary Mahon. Good to see Gary. God bless you. I can't smell a Toon goal. I can smell. Sorry, I can smell a Toon goal first coming on Saturday. I would love that, honestly, especially for the Barcelona game. I would absolutely love that. And John Boy, good to see you, John Boy. Evening, Philip, and the chat. Evening to you, John Boy. So, right. So, Wolves aren't coming into the game in the greatest of forms at the moment, but I do think we're gonna see that there is more from them than meets the eye. I'm anticipating. So let's go. As I mentioned, let's go to the tactics, and I'm anticipating. Well, we've always come to St James's Park as a lot of teams who probably outside of the big six or big or top six in terms of just games and every teams and capability. That there is going to be a low block, and I kind of saw that from Leeds a little bit, where they actually used our tactics, where when they press really really high, and when they defended in a low block. They didn't do it in the mid block as much, and it worked for them. So I sort of anticipate Wolves doing something similar. So I kind of focused in today's kind of tactical breakdown on how kind of how teams how was the best way. First of all, what's the best way to break down the low block? And I'm going to try and integrate with Newcastle and see what Newcastle can do. Giniesta sent his lineup, which is fantastic. Giniesta, good to see you, sir. God bless you. He's got Pope, Tino, Sharburn, Hall. Okay, so you see Hall returning and probably Trippier on the bench, right? Yeah, Bruno G, Tonali, Ramsey. You know that Ramsey is playing as well. Okay, with Joe Linton's back as well, so he's been playing. So I don't disagree with it. I'm just thinking, would he do that? And you got Elanga and Voltemada starting. You've got Voltemada starting. I like your lineup, Giniesta. I do like your lineup. I do like your lineup. Martin Blanc is full agree. Same lineup if it goes well. Wissa on second half in place of Ramsey. Ooh, drop to a 4-5-2. That would be exciting. You guys have got some. You guys are well more excited than I've been. I'm going with a steady Eddie lineup. The lineups that you guys have got is the ones I'd love. Giniesta says, I think Trippier, Joe Linton, Gordon, and Wissa coming in from start versus Barca. Ooh, yeah. That is some good thinking. That is some good thinking. I'm going to hold on to that, Giniesta. You might be onto something there. You might be onto something there. All right, so low blocks, low blocks, low blocks. Where art thou, low blocks? So look, we want to be able to get to this point when it comes to low blocks. If you can imagine, I forgot the channel. I forgot the channel that's on here that I got it. I'm going to big them up before that I got this from. This is from more. No, it's not James Olcott. What's the? Oh gosh, I'm playing my own self. I'll get the channel at some point, but um, for if you can imagine Newcastle in the red for a minute, but where can we? Oh no, sorry, in the blue. We want Newcastle in this sort of situation as often as possible this Saturday. That's the whether it's the number 11, number 10, whoever crashing into the box with the ball with two, three, four players in the penalty box, ready to receive the pass, or maybe the player goes himself and shoots himself. We want to be in this position as often as possible. Hopefully going through that low block at will. But in order to get there, Newcastle are going to have a tactical breakdown in order to break down that low block. Now, it's annoying because my name's here, my label's in the way here, so I have to go back a little bit. But the first thing is, so this is like traditionally you've got, if you can imagine us in the blue, Wolves in the red here. Usually you have low blocks can take up on a 4-5-1 formation, various formations, but what you would typically see, and you see Newcastle doing the same thing really, either a 4-5-1, a 5-4, a 5-3-2 type of situation. No, a 4-5-1 or a 5-4-1 or a 5-3-2. We're going to be looking at those ways, and there's two different ways you can attack it, either from the width or centrally, right? Ideally, if you can, centrally, because the goal was right in front of you, whereas the width, you kind of leave it a little bit more to chance. Now, in this one, in this form that I'm showing you guys, which is, if you can imagine, Newcastle obviously going to be on the attack. We have our front three players at the top, whether it's Voldemort and Wissa. Wissa, obviously, the number 9. Barnes and the Langer circling him. We have our two. We've got our two centre backs, probably Shaw on the ball there and Burn at the back. You've got Trippier pushing up in the number 3. You've got Tonali in the 6, screening the back line, and you've got whether it's Hall or I think it will be Trippier playing on the left, but I like the idea of Trippier playing. Maybe Hall does play, to be honest. Ginesta. This would be a really, really good game for Ginesta to be, not Ginesta, for Hall, for Lewis Hall to be playing and inverting into that number 2. Adding extra players into that midfield and giving the opposition something more to think about. Because the whole idea then is to be able to provide space for that number 11 on the left side. So in order to be able to give them space to either run into or do a 1-2 or to do something creative in order to do that. Otherwise, if the fullback doesn't invert, for instance, maybe you can go on the overlap like you see us doing a lot of the times, but trying to do something where we're not overly predictable in our play. So that's going to be kind of, I think, like the general sense of how the game will go in terms of that low block. Then you've got the other side of it. Have I got you guys? Have I forwarded it? I haven't forwarded it. Let me go to the next screen. I didn't go to the next screen. So we have this one here where, okay, so this is just a progression from the last one. So you can see that the inverted fullback forces a narrowing. So if you got, for instance, Hall joining into the midfield, you forced opposition to also have to narrow in because there's more players now in the middle of the park. So, some people might say, so if you imagine Hall there as a number 2, right? So some people might say, let's get Hall to overlap. And you can do the overlap. But what that happens is the number 11 just simply goes out and you got Hall and Barn on the same wing, and the number 11 and number 2 simply go out, and that you can see the defensive line shift. Whereas if Hall inverts, you keep the central midfielders central, you keep them pinned back, and then what then happens is when the ball goes out wide, you can separate Barnes in these 1v1 situations versus the fullback, and you can see the number 10 or the number 9 crossing over. So it will look a little bit like this. Let me come out of this. I'm going to be flicking through between different screens so so you guys know what I mean. I'm going to have to try and integrate it with what I'm doing. So I've got my tactical board up a little bit as well. So I have to remember that. So let's see this. So that's the Wolves one. Here we go. Something a little bit more familiar. Make sure you guys can see that. Right. Now you guys have got starting lineups that I'm quite jealous of. I'm starting to second think whether my starting lineup is a little bit too bland. But you can see Wolves here. So if Wolves go into a 4-5-1, who will drop back for them? I'm not quite sure. Maybe it's DM Wolf here. He drops back. joins Gomez, Agbadu, who I do like as a central midfielder, not midfielder, central as a defender. They go into a 4-5-1, make themselves very, very difficult to break down across the pitch for Newcastle. They say, you take the ball, we'll try and hit you on the transitions. From what I've heard, by the way, I don't think Larson is playing either. So we're going to see that. So I've got Wissa playing. I've got Wissa starting. I don't know if he's back from Congo yet, but not from Congo. Where did he play? Was it... who did they play? I forgot who they played. Anyway, we'll get to it. But let's get our boys to push up here. Right up against the lines. Shaw and Burn here. Now I've got the fullbacks. I like, if we're going to have the fullback inverted, I'd love to have Lewis Hall on this side. I wonder... All right, let me go with what you guys are saying. I'm going to put Livramento. I'm going to put Trippier on the bench, though I'm not sure that's going to happen. But this does suit Hall a little bit better, especially if he inverts. Because technically he's really, really good on the ball. So Livramento will push up with Elanga. You'd want that a little bit more. Tonali will be screening a little bit, but he'll keep himself pushing up as well. Burn on the ball. And you'll see Mr. Hall pushing up like this. So what you'll get is this. You'll get Tonali. You'll get to Livramento pushing up on Arias here. Is on Arias, Tonali here. No, Tonali here, excuse me. Bruno here or here, depends on how they want to do it. Lewis Hall on Gomez, and Joe Linton taking up this position here. So keeping Gomez guessing. So Gomez and Huang would have to be trying to go out, provide some sort of press as well. So you're keeping their lines busy. So by inverting that essentially, and having Joe Linton coming in, Benitez also has to look after him. And then if you get the ball out quickly to Barnes, the idea is to get him into these 1v1 situations. But what you also want to have is you want to have a little bit more forward play. You want to have Joe Linton a little bit further up here as well. Just causing Vinicius to have to think about what he's doing. So you can really have, and you've got Lewis Hall here keeping Gomez busy. So Gomez has to look after Lewis Hall. There's two. They've got R. Gomez. They've got J. Gomez looking after Tonali. Livramento push here as well. And you've got Bruno keeping joining a little bit with Wissa, who then can also come across as well and keep Agbadu busy, right? So you're going to have Wissa coming across, Bruno joining in here on the outsides like this. So the whole point is to be able to isolate. Let me get the square out. Here we go. Is to isolate Barnes of Bueno. That's what you want to be able to get. But also what you want to be able to get, and I'll go to the chat in a moment, is the whole idea of low blocks. You want to be able to get into these areas, right? You want to be able to get into these penalties. Centrally would be ideal, and we're going to talk about that. But you want to get here. That's the whole point. That's the whole point of trying to break down the low blocks. Can we get ourselves into the penalty box? So this is why you see a lot of fullbacks inverting. Some people think it's a hipster type of thing, which I understand, but I do think there is logic to this madness as well in kind of doing that. So that's the first part. That's the first part I want to talk about. I wanted to add something else to it before I kind of go back to it as well, before I go to the chat. But also, like I said, you can have Lewis Hall inverting, or let me see what we've got here. Here we go. Or you'll also have to have the fullbacks, the centre backs, whether it's Shaw or Burn, when they go on those runs, providing and also asking questions of the centre midfielders and forcing them to come out. So in the screen that I'm showing you, which screen am I showing you? Let me just double make sure. Flicking from different screens here. Here we go. So that's the one I just showed. Barnes isolating there, slide 35. Here we go. But also what you want to have is the centre backs testing them out as well and forcing the midfielders to ask a question. So you can see Shaw. You can imagine Shaw in the number 5. He's with the ball. He'll also have to push up into the mid half of the pitch as well, and he's going to be asking questions of their number 11. You can see the number 11 there, because if the number 11 doesn't address Shaw, Shaw can just run into the centre half, into the danger zones and take a shot. Remember that famous goal he did with Nottingham Forest, like was it a couple 2-3 years ago, which he did. So it'll look a little bit like this. So it's not just. Let me get back to this screen. Oh, let me take this one off. So it will look a little bit like this. So if we go back into that 4-5-1. So the ball comes back to Shaw. So Lewis Hall can still be around here. This time maybe holding the width. Muniz feels like he can come out a little bit. Got Joe Linton here. The ball comes back, goes out to Shaw. Now Shaw's got an option. Does he go out wide to Lewis Hall, for instance, and the ball goes from Lewis Hall to Barnes? You can have Lewis Hall have an opportunity to do the overlap, for instance, that way. Or, because if the ball gets lost, what happens is there's big open space here on Burns' side, for instance. I keep on saying Shaw, but it's Burn. Or, can Burn ask the question? Can Burn push up forward a little bit? Maybe Lewis Hall and Barnes hold the width. Muniz has got a choice now. Does he just let Burn run in and close the gap? And this is what causes the narrowing here, because everyone's going to now come across. Gomez has to come across. Everyone has to come across here. They all have to meet the challenge now. Muniz, is he going to stay with Joe Linton? If he stays with Joe Linton, what then ends up happening is what he ends up doing is letting Burn just come closer and closer and closer on the ball, and he now has the pick of getting out wide to Wissa and others. So Muniz will have to try and come out to Burn and to meet him there, and that's what allows again to the ball to go out wide to Lewis Hall or to Burn, and again or to Barnes, Then again causing the isolation that we want to see between Barnes and Bueno. Now, I don't know about you guys, and I'm going to go to the chat in a moment. I don't think Barnes is the best one-on-one 1v1 winger in the league. I don't think he's the best 1v1 player in our team. If we was to go to the other side, for instance, so if we was to go to Ilanga's side, for instance, I have a lot more faith. So this time it's Shaw on the ball. Burn steps across. Lewis Hall steps across. Tonali's holding it here. If we have Shaw on the ball here, and he's got the choice of Livramento, you've got Arias here, you've got the Wolves defense having to shift over a little bit. Tonali's occupying Gomez. Wissa is holding the central areas here. Mauritius has to go over a little bit here. Livramento's holding Whitfoot, was holding the back line here with Andre. If you got him going, if you got Shaw going over here, right? Livramento's keeping Arias busy. What happens here is you could have a situation where, let me make sure everybody's occupied that needs to be occupied. So Bruno's here, for instance, keeping Andre busy. So then you've got to cause a creation here. So Shaw's got the ball. Bruno comes over to Andre. Tonali comes over to Gomez. Joe Linton comes over to R. Gomez. Our back two shift over here as well. Shah's on the ball. You've got Livramento over with Arias. Now you got Shah coming in closer, and he's asking Arias or Andre the question, right? If Andre decides to leave Bruno, he leaves a gap here, right here, for Bruno to come in, right? So he's going to hold whip. He's going to have to hold the line, right? The other question is then if Shaw continues to approach, then someone has to meet him. And if it's Arias, which they'll probably prefer to do because they want Newcastle to go out wide, the ball goes out to Livramento, and you then can cause these kind of 1v1 or 2v1 situations between Wolf and Elanga, or Elanga in a 1v1 with Wolf. So I can see I would prefer Elanga in a 1v1 than I do with Barnes. I don't think Barnes is as good as in 1v1 situations as obviously as an Elanga is, or a Livramento on that side. So I wonder if we're likely to see Newcastle concentrate their attacks on that right side. So we're going to go into the other aspects of kind of breaking the low blocks. We're going to look at more essentially in a moment, but we've got a few chats. Well, I've got more than a few chats. Goodness gracious, I must have been really, really talking for a while. Apologies, guys. We've got 16 folks in the chat. I don't know how many likes we've got, but I hope we've broken 10, guys. Make sure let someone know how many we've got in the chat. I hope we've got more than 10 likes in the that's been hit. Adrian Pickett says, but it's a long gap between two Barca on Thursday. The tighter turnaround is from Barca to Bournemouth. Yeah, that 3-day one is going to be interesting. John Boy says, I have a ticket for Saturday. Brilliant. Well done to you, man. So buzzing for that. Think Whistle will start and Nick will be on the bench. I do too, but the more it's a 50-50, but I think Wissa has to start. I think I see Watermada starting the Champions League game. I guess at Trips, Sharp, Burn, Tino, Bruno, Tonali, and Big Joe with Barnes, Wissa, and Elanga. Yes. I think so. But I think now the more I'm talking about, for instance, what I'm talking about, which is the low blocks and stuff, Lewis Hall will be so good for this. Gary Mahon says having a striker up front up against Wolves is going to be like popping like a cork in the bottle. Yeah. You know what? When I was preparing the first team, I was like, man, who's going to be up front? I said, hold on, we've got two players up front. I was so happy. Abra Ashraf, God bless you, good to see you, says, Wolf Voldemort and Wissa breaking a low block. You can't even hit a barn door. I think they can. Aaron Kim says, good evening, everyone. Good evening to you, Aaron. Always a blessing to see you. Mitch says, I think we might see Bruno rested. Really? As we have Barca and Bournemouth in quick succession after this one. But the Barcelona one, there's 5 days between that. I can see Bruno playing. I think Bruno has to play. I think Bruno plays, but I see where you're coming from there, Mitch. John Boy says Pope in goal, but would like Ramsdale to get his opportunity. And you know what? The more I'm looking at these low blocks and everything else, and how we have to commit men forward, the more that we need, our ball playing players to be playing, and like Ramsdale and others. So that is good. That's going to be a big thing. John Boy says I'd actually like Jacob Murphy to start, and I did consider that as well over Elanga, but I think Howe will start. So I would want Elanga on the left instead of Barnes, and I'd want Murphy on the right possibly. But I think Howe will stick with Elanga. I think he will as well. I don't think he's going to switch Elanga up too much. Martin Bland says, but that could be the surprise. When we say Eddie Howe's not going to do it, he ends up doing it. Martin Bland says, still think Bruno will get half a game. Miley on second half. He's too important. 3 points gold. I would love that. I'd love it to be like that. And that's the whole thing. That's the whole thing, isn't it? Like in my mind, and maybe in some of you as well, that I'm thinking they're playing 90 minutes and they don't have to play 90 minutes. So Bruno obviously has been away with Brazil and others. How might just have 60 minutes in mind for them? Hopefully we're 2-3 up by then. That'll be the idea. But we've got a heavy bench. When I go back to the tactics board, like our bench is looking like, unless I haven't seen a deeper bench for years. I haven't seen a deeper bench like this, maybe ever. I don't know. Gary Mahon says, Philip, Voltemada will kill a low block. His presence will kill the defense and leave Barnes, Bruno, Murphy, Ilanga, J7 to feed off the scraps. I agree. I absolutely agree, Gary. I just don't know if he'll start. I just don't know if he'll start, honestly. Like, it's so unlike Howe to start a player fresh, but with so many games to go, he might just do it. He might just do it. But I can see Wissa starting. I really can. John Boy says Bruno goes like a Duracell bunny. He always has more in the tank. I agree. He doesn't have to play the full 90 minutes. We've got midfielders that can take over. Ramsey, Miley. Who's the third midfielder we got? Even Willock posted something today saying that he's ready, he's back. I hope so. Genius, thanks for that. DR Congo played in Senegal. And he's even back. I hope he's back. Voldemar might have to start by default. Geniesta says, nice little box midfield there. Lewis Hall was at 8 back in his academy days, so that inverted role was. Well, that's exactly it, Geniesta. It's why I can't remember who said it. I don't know if it was you, but somebody said Lewis Hall to start. I don't know who said it. I forgot who said it. And I was going to be stubborn and say Trippier, but the more you look at it and the more you need to, break down these blocks, Lewis Hall is so good, whether it's in that box or in the overlap. It's hard to ignore. It really is hard to ignore. What else is hard to ignore is Barnes in the 1v1 situations, to be honest. That's the only other thing that worries me. If you want Hall there, you do want Hall there, occupying these guys, and Bruno supporting Wissa. Maybe Livramento here, Joe Linton here, no Livramento here. Yeah, you want Hall in these type of places, like just and his ability in the ball is out. Ginesta, we might see him. Well, I would love to see him, honestly. I would really, really love to see him. Oh wow, fantastic! You know what? This thing with the chat is it pauses. So I'm thinking when I'm reading out, I'm thinking I've only got 3 or 4 chats. I can continue talking, and then it freezes, and then 100 messages come through, which I'm super happy about. But I'm like, oh my word, I've missed all these chats. John Boy says, I think Trippier. So I think you're right, Janista. John Boy says, I think Trippier will be more useful starting the Barca match. Possibly. I haven't even thought about who's going to be on the right. Where's Lamar's? He's on the right. So Livramento plays on the left, right? Yeah. I can see that. Smokey, good to see you. God bless you. Hi, everyone. Hi to you, Smokey. Good to see you. Good to see you. Always good to see people people coming in as well. Geniesta says, Wolves signed a right wing back from Hellas Verona who stayed in their last game. Jackson. Yeah, I saw that one. He did also clock the highest top speed this season. Yeah. I saw that. So, we have to be, our rest defense has to be on point. It's not all going to be, guns blazing. You're talking to Adrian. Martin Bland says Voltemar is perfect for a blow block, can pull out and pick up, can run ahead, can dribble past. Really think we're all in for a shock. I hope so. I honestly hope so. John Boy says, I have a feeling our season is about to explode starting Saturday. Imagine sitting this time next week with 2 victories under our belt, one of them being Barcelona. Sounds Kenny, doesn't it? Man, I hope Asprilla turns up. Honestly, someone said, do we have? I thought someone said they've got 21 likes, Smash, which is amazing. But I have to double checking it. Albert Afshaf also wants Voltemada to start. Smokey, thank you, Smokey says, hit the likes button, smash the likes and subscribe to the channel, folks. Oh yes, it was Geniesta. 21 people. I told you our conversion rate is crazy. We've got 21 viewers. No, we had 18 viewers and we had 21 likes at one point, which is amazing. Kim Gam, good to see you. God bless you. All right, so that again, so one way in terms of breaking down that blow block was to do with going out wide, but the ideal way is to hit centrally, to be able to do it centrally. Why? Because the goal is central, right? We want to be make sure we've got the right. We want to be as central to the goal as possible. So that way, let me make sure I got the right slide on. That way, we can we've got chances of creating higher. We've got a better way of being able to create higher. Where is it? Here we go. We've got a way to create higher quality chances. So where is it? Here we go. Yeah, so it is 35, 36. All right, so let me get back on it. Where are we? Here we go. So that was how we can go out wide. Where is it? That's 35. And you want to be able to hit centrally, right? So this is the part, and this is why my mind is a lot more on playing Lewis Hall, really, because central attacks are the best. And I know but they're the hardest to do, especially when you're playing low blocks, because when you're doing a low block defense, and we know this because we do this, the central part is the hardest part is the hardest part to well, how do I say it? As the team doing the low block, the part is the easiest to defend because it's congested. You can just congest it. You can have as many. You can congest your midfielders, your centre backs, even your forwards, and make it very, very hard. You can push the opponent to the width, to the left and right flanks, right? But if you're trying to break down the low block, central attacks are the best. Creating centrally, creating in terms of creating central, in terms of creating high quality chances. So the screen I'm showing you is a 5-4-1 defense. Newcastle do it. I anticipate Wolves will be doing it during the games as well. And what it would need is our fullbacks again inverting, and again, which makes me talk about Lewis Hall, and our forwards and our eights advancing even further. So this is why I think Bruno Gomes should be key in this part as well. So in order to kind of occupy the centre back, I'm going to skip further there. So let me go back. Here we go. So in this example, obviously you got starting from the front, you've got whether that will be a Tonali or Bruno. I think it'll be a Bruno, just because if we do get hit on the counter attack, you need the Tonali, screening the back two, back three, really, back two, helping them out, and you got them advancing and supporting Wissa and supporting whoever in probably Barnes playing a lot more centrally, right? So rather having Barnes out on the wide, you want to have Barnes in that number 10 role next to Wissa. I think Barnes would love that role as well. And you can only make this happen is if you get Hall go inverting and you got someone else doing the overlaps here as well. So we have to see how that looks. I don't know where that 11 is going to come from. So it's a very, very attacking. Maybe it's Joe Linton, for instance, right? I think Ramsey would be the better player to do it, but maybe that's how Ramsey might play. Maybe Ramsey plays, right? So let's see how that looks. Obviously, you've got Hall inverting. You can imagine him in number 2, probably next to Tonali and Livramento there, and you've got Burn and Shaw at the back. You'd really want it to be Botman and Chow because of their pace and athleticism, to be honest. But that will come in time. So let me go back to our team. How will that look with our team? If we want to be able to hit them centrally, all right, so if we want to be able to hit them centrally, here we go. So you guys can see that. Let's rearrange this again. So Newcastle in the 4-5-1, you're gonna have either Bruno here. So the idea is to be able to hit centrally as much as possible. So Wissa up against Agbadu. So we're going to start from the left side. We're going to attack our left where Barnes is. I'm going to focus in on Barnes. Guys, let me know. Do you think Barnes is going to play? I think that's a silly question. He's going to play. But I'd ideally want him here. I don't think he wants to be here. I think he wants to be here, right? Ideally, you want him here. So if Hall inverts, right? So say you got Joe Linton out wide. If Hall inverts next to Tonali and Livramento here, and you've got Shaw and Byrne here at the back. Get the ball off to Byrne because we're going to attack left, right? So you've got Tonali occupying Gomez, you've got Lewis Hall occupying Vinicius, you've got Burt, and then what then happens, you've got Livramento at occupying Jay Gomez. And if you go a little bit more centrally here, if we focus on a little bit more, here we go, zoom in a little bit more. Make sure you guys can see that. Yeah, you can see that, right? So, but the more I look at it, you know when Barnes chops on that right, and you think you're expecting big things, that's the moment you want to be able to create for him, right? So if we are attacking centrally, what you'd want is the opportunity to be able to cause some sort of overloads as well. So Barnes has to occupy this space, and Joe Linton goes out wide, right? So Joe Linton holds hopefully can pin the fullback back. So Bueno in this case has two choices. Do I go with Barnes and leave Joe Linton by himself? And if you leave Joe Linton by himself, obviously you then cause a situation where you can cross the ball in. You can possibly do 1-2s, all this other stuff, right? But maybe it's a less riskier situation, right? If you do that, or if you leave Barnes and you leave or Agbadu having to do with two players going in centrally, which is a big no-no. You then cause even bigger problems where you can have higher quality chances now being able to create. Barnes either takes a shot himself, or he goes over to Wissa, then can run into space. But the whole idea is for Newcastle to be able to keep these centre backs busy. So Wissa, Bruno has to advance, right? And in this case, to make it work, for instance, right? So in this case, you've got Livramento inverting, you've got Tonali here, obviously screening the back two, you've got Lewis Hall having to invert and keeping those guys busy as well. So Joe Linton is forced out wide, but at the same time, I don't want Joe Linton out wide. I think his left wing days are over, and you want probably somebody else doing that, right? The other option is Joe Linton holds it, and it's Lewis Hall out wide, and you've got Livramento here. Lewis Hall's good technically, right? So you have the choice of doing the 1-2s, right? Getting past Bueno, for instance, in order to do that, but keeping people occupied. That's the whole thing. So there's ways they can do this. Is it Lewis Hall out wide? Is it Joe Linton out wide and Lewis Hall holding centrally here? But the hope and the idea is for Barnes to tuck in and have at least a threat of causing those overloads. Or maybe Barnes out wide and Joe Linton taking up these central positions here, right? And this is where the part where people are saying we need more creative players, right? Because Joe Linton is great at the recovery runs, the tackles, and keeping the robust midfield. But he also has to be lethal in these areas, providing through balls, key passes, quality shots. But Wissa we know is very excellent in terms of his movement. He's going to keep Agbadu busy. Bruno has to keep Gomez busy as well. And so we have to be quite aggressive in how we press Wolves and keeping them busy, right? So that's the other thing. And that's why I can see why some people are saying Don't play Joe Linton. Play Ramsey. Because Ramsey's very, very good at these type of situations, providing the through balls onto Whistle to run into, or crashing the box himself, or doing the one, playing alongside Barnes. Barnes can himself. I've got two footballs here. That's crazy. Or even being out wide, even though they don't necessarily want that, but kind of interchanging with Barnes. Who would you guys have? Would you guys play Ramsey or Joe Linton for this game? Let me know. Let me know. Because if the ball does break, it's Joe Linton that you want chasing that, right? Rather than a Barnes or a Ramsey, who aren't, no slouches themselves, but there's just that Joe Linton profile. Isn't maybe save Joe Linton for the Barcelona game. Maybe. The options are there. But I do sense maybe you do that. Maybe Lewis Hall and Ramsey, you guys have talked me into it. Maybe Ramsey and Lewis Hall do start. Maybe Ramsey and Lewis Hall do start. Maybe they do. Let me know what you guys are saying. I'm going to go to the chats before. There's a couple of other things I wanted to before I wanted to round up on before we. Everything points to creativity. Everything points to creativity. That's if we have our game, right? So we had 21 likes by it, guys. Let me know if we can get 30. Can we get to 30 likes with 19 viewers? Let me know. And halfway through the tactical, I already changed my team. I've gone for Ramsey instead of Joe Linton, and I've gone for. But maybe that might be a second half. And maybe you start off with Joe Linton and a Barnes and Trippier, and then second half you change it up. Maybe. Howe has options. So let me see what you guys are saying. Kim Cam says, all the love for the Toon. Hope you're good, Philip. Bless Cam. And I hope, God bless you. Hope you're well. Kim Cam says, we are going to smash Wolves. Wishing. I hope so too. I hope so too. Gary Mahone says, I've talked myself around already. Howe's got some options, man. Gary Mahon says Barnes thrives on quick 1-2s to get behind the defense. He does. Strangely, we've never employed him. We're never employed that with him. He did it all the time at Leicester to a devastating effect. He did. I do think. I don't know if it's lazy analysis to say this, but Leicester had space. Like what I'm describing here, especially in these low blocks, like you guys can see this right now, like there's hardly any space here. And City had to break this down as well. They did it to really good effect, and sometimes they hit Wolves in the transition. Sometimes Wolves just created their own errors. Like honestly, we mentioned earlier in the stats the errors that Wolves had. I hope they create more errors as well, but it's congested here, and there's little space. Can Barnes work the space? I think Ramsey can. I know Wissa can. We know Voldemort can, right? It's a difficult one. Let me know what you think about that, Gary. John Boyce says, I'm starting work tomorrow at stupid o'clock, so getting my head down. Good night, or God bless you, John. Good to have you, sir. Make sure you're ready for work as well. You don't want to be tired and just crazy. Do watch on playback if you've got time. Janessa says, yes, Barnes is at his best when he's not. Sorry. Janessa says, yes, Barnes is at his best when he's got overlapping left back behind him, not when he's having to hold the width himself. I agree, Iniesta. Honestly, I agree with you. Let me go back to this. Was I already there? I was already there. Okay, fine. And what Genius is describing is, so say Barnes is out wide here, and he's in a 1v1 with Bueno, right? You'd want is either a Ramsey. I don't think it could be Ramsey. Either a Ramsey. Say for instance, it's Ramsey going on the outside line. Have I got so many footballs out here? Going on the outside like this. So giving Bueno the choice. Does he go right with Ramsey, or does he follow Barnes? But Barnes he loves that little. He's able to have that choice. Drop a shoulder, get here, and be able to either run and crash into the penalty box, or just hit it. That goal he scored against West Ham, against Wolves as well. Actually, he wants to have that opportunity, right? So he wants to have the overlapping runs, whether it's Ramsey or whether it's Ramsey holds where he is, or whether it's Hall doing it instead. He wants to have that opportunity to be able to do that, right? That's how you get the best out of. I've got two footballs here again. That's how you get the best out of Barnes. If you've got players around him making runs, that's how you get the best out of Barnes. We're not going to get the best out of Barnes if there isn't any overlapping runs, and you've got Barnes out here and Bueno meeting him. What you're going to get is Barnes is chopping back and giving it back to Ramsey, for instance. I agree with what Ginesta's saying. Martin Blanton, Craig Hope has just said Wissa to start. Wow. There wasn't no press conference today. It's going to be tomorrow. I wonder why we leaked that. I want if that's the case, guys in the chat, let me know, why would Newcastle leak that? Only Eddie Howe could allow that to happen, right? Because otherwise, he's going to be annoyed if someone else in the camp did that. I wonder why he leaked that. Unless it's Voldemort that start. What if it's Voldemort and Wissa that start? Because what if it's Voldemort and Wissa that starts? How would it look? So who would not be playing? So Ramsey and Joe Linton will be on the bench. Where's my Voldemort? Here he is. He'll be Voldemort here and Wissa. Voldemort keeping Agbadu busy. Excuse me. And Wissa sort of in his free role here. Guys, do you think Howe would start with Voldemort and Wissa? Would Howe start with Voldemort and Wissa? We know Voldemort can keep, by himself would be an absolute magnet. Would he start with Voldemort, guys? Let me know. Voldemort is on that left side. But Voldemort can also be, he's not just a target man. Wissa can hold this line as well. Adrian's, no, Aaron says he doesn't think he does. I don't think he does either. I think it's way too early for that. So let me put Voldemort back. Let me put Ramsey back into the game and Wissa to start as a number 9, which is what we expect, really. So it'll be crazy, though. It'll be absolutely phenomenal. Aaron Kane says Barnes doesn't have the pace and teams don't afford us the space in behind to play 1-2s. He's not dynamic enough and hasn't shown enough to, in my opinion, to warrant a start. So if not Barnes, who would you start? My only other solution to this is Elanga goes on the left, and we know he's fairly ambidextrous. That's why we bought him. Barnes on the bench and Jacob Murphy on the right. That way, you've got two players, and I think I saw Bobby Fairview on here. God bless you, Bobby Fairview. Good to see you. I'm sure Bobby Fairview will be happy to see Jacob Murphy start. I feel a little bit more at peace with this way, a little bit more, because then you got Elanga. You want Elanga and want Elanga and Ramsey on the same side. Lewis Hall, Wissa, a lot of players of intelligence, running ability here on this side, causing absolute havoc, in my opinion. And then if you go back to the right side here, Murphy, if the play switches to this side, what you would have is Murphy holding width. We know that Murphy's got no problem holding width. Or, you can either hit it early. That's another solution, getting the ball in there early. So Wissa, maybe at times Sonali even crashing the box. The ball going out wide here, Shah, with opportunities here to get it over to Hook to get the defense having to shift over. Huang's going to have to support. Who does he go for? Ooh, I wonder if you get guys. Who would you do that, Aaron? Let me know in the chat, guys. Would you put Elanga on the left and Murphy on the right? Would you guys do that? I can see that as a solution. Gary Mahon says, you heard it here first. Wissa hat trick on Saturday. I'm absolutely convinced. I love that. I'm going to go back to that. In fact, let me star it so I remember. Let me star it. Make sure, Gary, when we do it, that you remind me if this has happened. Giniesta says, we got 3 games in short succession. Yes, we've got 5 games in 2 weeks. We've got 3 games in short succession. I think Joelinton starts versus Barcelona. Yes, to help double up on Yamal. But on the bench for the Wolves and Bournemouth games because of his physical status. That could be it. Smokey says, thank God this international break is over. Get the Prem back on. Absolutely. 100%. 100%. I did see Bobby Fairview. Good to see you, Bobby. Big up Toon fans near and far. Bless up, Philip. I hope that everyone is doing well. All the better for seeing you, Bobby. All the better for seeing you. Giniesta. It's possible with Watermada as the left 10, Bruno right 10, Holland Tonali in a double pivot behind the form of a box midfield. So hold on. Watermada as a left 10, Bruno as a right 10. So let me go back to it. Watermada as a left 10, Bruno as a right 10, Bruno here in the right. Let me take Ramsey off again. So far more advanced again. So you got Watermada here, Lewis Hall here. So you got a box. You're talking about the box, right? Bruno, Tonali. Hold on, can you guys see that? Yeah, you can. Okay, so let's go back to the right side. We've got folks shifting over. So this is what do you mean? Okay, I think I see what you're saying. So this is what Giniesta may be referring to. I'll double check with Giniesta. Get that box midfield going. So here we go. So Tonali, Hall at the base of the double pivot, Voltamada and Bruno. Giniesta. Are you sure you're not Eddie Howe? So let me see. So where would we attack from? So say we attack from the right. Shah's got the ball. Livramento pushes up. Burn shifts over. Langa probably here as well, keeping Bueno occupied. So Shah on the ball. He's got Hall in front of him. Monitas has to watch Ilanga. Does he go across? He can do, but still, Wissa is free. Wissa is free. Shah's here. Dan Burns here. Tonali keeping Gomez busy. Bruno keeping the other Gomez busy. Wissa in the middle. He can also drop in if he has to. Then Voltamada takes up that space. Ilanga goes in here. You can have that. Voltamada, though, will probably want to be here on that left side of Ilanga. Maybe that's why they leaked it. Maybe Voltamada does start. Let me know, guys. I like this idea. This is like, it's a, I'll just be surprised. Honestly, it'd be a nice surprise, but I'll be shocked. Smokey says, I don't think he'll start, but he'll get some time. Aaron says, Willock, if he's fit enough, can do a job on the left as well, can go on the outside as well. That's true. That is true. Gary Mahon says, I think we are looking like a seriously scary side now. How do you stop us? We are a force. I love Gary's confidence, man. Absolutely brilliant. I'll read a few more and I'll get back to the end of the thing and I'll get you guys. Get your predictions in, guys. You don't have to wait to the end. Do let me know your predictions for the game. Bobby Fabian says, I probably missed the predicted formation, Philip. Promise that we were all wrong. All that Eddie Howe will play with, all that Eddie Howe will play with true strikers this season. I can't wait. Aaron Came says, I also heard Bruno has just come back today from international duty. If that's the case, do you even risk Bruno against Wolves and start Miley? Or start Ramsey? I think Eddie Howe prefers Ramsey. If Bruno doesn't play, I don't think it's Miley that played. If Bruno doesn't play for whatever reason, maybe he's just not feeling it, not feeling like he's not well or whatever, I don't think he starts Miley. I think he starts Ramsey. I think Ramsey across here is good. But let me know what you guys think. There's just so many options. There's so many options. There's so many. Let me know what you think, Aaron. Do you think if he has, say Bruno, for whatever reason, is just not fit enough, hasn't recovered well enough, does he go with Miley? Does it go with Ramsey? Let me know, guys. And guys, send me your predicted scores. Aaron Kim says the best way to beat Wolves is a numerical overload on both sides, like we always do. We need to stretch the pitch, which is why I don't think a box midfield works in this kind of game, in my opinion. So we've got a bit of a debate going on. Is it going to be a box midfield? Is it going to be stretching the play? Janessa said, correct. Possession shape like that. Okay, so I did get it right. Possession shape like that, and then out of possession of 4-1-1, or something like Bruno G and Tonali in a double mid pivot. That sounds good to me. Smokey says, Philip, who do you think will be in the top 4 this season? Well, I've given my predictions actually. I have given my predictions. Let me just see where was it? I have given my predictions, but I think I've got Liverpool with 88 points, something like that. Arsenal with like 81 points. Newcastle third with 71 points. And I think fourth I've got, let me see. Yeah, so Liverpool first, 88 points. Arsenal second with 81 points. Newcastle 71 points. Fourth, Man City with 68 points. And fifth, Chelsea with 64 points. Joint points with Brighton. You heard it here first. You've heard it here first. All right, so tons. Janessa says rest defense is also good due to the box midfield way back for inverted left. LB Hall is shorter compared to if he held the width as a left winger. So you got, yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, 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 yeah. So yeah, you got him kind of inverting. What else before I just want to finish up on the, so Aaron says it's just so refreshing to have options to change tactically, which we haven't had for before. Exactly. Right. So going back to the width in terms of breaking down a block, speaking of which, um, where is it? Here we go. So we talked about, first we talked about on the flanks, then we talked about centrally. We're gonna go back to on the flanks again. Did I just come out of it? Where am I? Here we go. Right. So we're gonna go back to the back to the flanks again. Another other ways that Newcastle um, can start. Where is it? Make sure I get myself back on the right slides. And guys, do remember to like, share, and subscribe as always, folks. Do remember to like, share, and subscribe. Da, da, da. Right. So yeah. So starting with 37, slide 37. So many slides. So many slides. So going back to the flanks. Again, the two centre backs is on the ball. That's all I love to have Ramsdale. I've got to keep on looking at the goalkeeper and it's Pope. Great shot stopper, but we need the flank. We need the goalkeeper that can play with the ball. But anyway, two centre backs on the ball. Looking at the left side again. Say Wolves keep a 4-5-1 defensive shape. Again, we've got the advanced forwards there. It's going to be the advanced eights. We're occupying the central areas with the advanced eights, and hold this time on the left flank, holding the width with probably with Barnes or the Langer, we'll see. And the idea is to be able to hit on the flank, right? So how can Newcastle do that again successfully? We talked about it a little bit because the idea is to get into this highlighted area, into this side of the pitch, which again, I don't think Wolves will mind that too much. Any team that's played defending the low block, we do it again. We don't want teams to go through centrally, which is what Wolves allowed against Man City. That's why they lost so badly. And the idea is to create these type of triangles, which we see a lot with Newcastle. We've seen that a lot with Newcastle, but and I think someone said it before. They become a little bit predictable for people. Uh, um, Someone said, "What did I say?" Philip Gary says Philip Mahorn is pronounced Morn or Morn. Morn. Gary Morn. Is it Morn? Oh, sorry. I keep saying Mahorn. Morn. Sorry, Gary. I'm gonna listen to Gary. Gary Morn. All right, brilliant. Thank you for that. Philip, I don't have a score prediction, but I think the lift of two new guys up front gives us added to the frustration of the last three games is going to be way too much for Wolves. Yeah, that'd be phenomenal. Going back to this in terms of like adding these type of widths, adding these rotations, which we're kind of familiar with Newcastle doing. I would want us to also be able to hit crosses early, which could be a reason why Murphy starts on the right with maybe a Lango on the left instead of Barnes. That could be a thing. That could be something that could happen as well. But otherwise, we need to be a little bit more. We need to be a little bit less predictable, in my opinion. The other way of breaking it down is obviously, like we kind of talked about earlier, is our centre backs been a little bit more aggressive and pushing and causing the midfielders, the Wolves midfielders to come out to them, giving us options to be able to hit the ball on the left or the right, to go on the left flank or to go centrally as well. So, which is why you'd want a Botman really. So maybe does Botman start, for instance? He's good at that as well. Shaw can do that as well. Burn to a lesser extent. I don't know. All of these guys are coming out from international duties apart from Shaw. Malik Chow's really good at that. Does Chow start? Or is that too many changes? Eddie Howe doesn't like to change his backline too much as well. It has been 2 weeks though as well. So I don't know. But these are the ways that Newcastle are going to have to work in order to in order to be able to break down that back line as well. So, right. There's a tactical breakdown there. I kind of focusing on the low blocks because I do think that's where we're going to be heading to. As mentioned previously, this is and guys, send in your score predictions, send in your score predictions, send in your score predictions. I'm going to give mine in a moment as well, and then we'll give the score predictions for the rest of the league as well. But I don't think it's going to be like, or is they've got a solid start. So SofaScore got a solid start. I think they've forgotten that we've bought 2 new strikers. We can't have 3 in the back against Wolves. We can't do that to ourselves. Yeah, they got us. I don't see this as a starting lineup from what SofaScore are providing. I'm going to go back to mine. And you guys have got me. I can just see a sensible Eddie Howe. But is he going to be sensible? Yeah, it's this one. Yeah. Here we go. Can you guys see that? Yeah, you can. Who do you guys think will start? I know you guys. Let me know your score predictions, actually. Send in your score predictions. Who starts? Who starts for the Toon? Who starts for the Toon? Does he start both strikers? Does he do a pivot? I started off with the usual, which is Livramento on the left. Where's Trips? Trips. And just I want to also point out this, our bench. So say, for instance, we do what we've typically done in the last 3 games, which is 4-3-3. So Whistle will start, as they said. Say it's Joe Linton instead of Ramsey, for instance. And on the left, Barnes. No, that's Miley. Barnes. I can't remember how many subs were allowed. I think it's 9 or is it 8? I think I've got a player missing. Bruno. Where's Bruno? Bruno. Here we go. Bruno. So just to say this, imagine if we just start how we typically start with Wissa, Elanga, Barnes making up the front 3, our typical midfield of Tonali, Bruno, and Joe Linton, Livramento on the left, Trippier on the right, Burn and Shaw in the middle, Pope in goal. Look at our bench, just to start off with. Voltamada for the attack. Voltamada for the attack. Jacob Murphy, Ramsey, Lewis Miley, Lewis Hall, Botman, Malik Chow, Kraft, Ramsdale. That's a really good bench. That's a really good bench. And as I think Aaron said it earlier and a few others, is that we have such tactical flexibility. It's hard to choose who's going to play and who's not. I would love, and what people have suggested is for Livramento to come back on the right, maybe reserve Trippier for the Barcelona game. Livramento to go out on the right, Lewis Hall on the left. Maybe you do keep Joe Linton for the Barcelona game and you play Ramsey instead. You start Ramsey against, because you're probably not going to start Ramsey against Barcelona. Maybe Ramsey does start. Whistle through the middle. Barnes is the big question for me. Barnes is the big question for me. Does he play better? I got Botman instead of Lewis, instead of Liverpool. Instead of where's Lewis Hall? Where is Lewis Hall? He's here. What does Eddie do with Barnes? He wants him on the edge of the box. Or does Eddie put Murphy on the right, Elanga on the left, Jacob Murphy on the right here. It's a lot of changes. Or does Eddie keep Elanga? Takes off Murphy and starts a Voltemada. That would be insane. But it could work. I don't know. Send in your score predictions, guys, and then we'll go to the rest of the league. All right. But I'm gonna give my score prediction as well. I don't think Voltemada starts. I do think he'll give Barnes a go. I want it to be a 3-4-0. But my gut is telling me it's going to be 2-1 to Newcastle. I think similar to what happened last season, even though it was at Wolves, but also at Newcastle. I think it'll be 2-1 Newcastle. I think it'll be a tight game than we kind of envisaged. But let me know what you guys think, and let me read the chat, and then we'll see the rest of the score, see the rest of the games as well. Like, by the way, guys, do remember to like, share, and subscribe. Adrian says 1-0. 1-0 to Newcastle. 1-0 to Newcastle. And what else? How was it? Genius says 2-1 as well. Late consolation from Wolves. I prefer it to be like that. I had it like, I wouldn't mind that. Agents, but I think our defense has been really good though, Geniesta. You know, it's been really, really good. Adrian Pickett says, was Arias the nimble Colombian lad from the Club World Cup? I don't know, Adrian. I didn't get enough time to kind of research Wolves as like I did Leeds previously. Like I was able to do the matchups because I really I got to look at their scouting reports and stuff like that. So I was able to do the matchups. I don't know, but if he is, all I know is that we have to be on top of it. We have to be on top of it. So we've got 2-1s, 1-0s. I think someone said, does anyone got any heavy score lines? Let me know, guys. We're all kind of cautious here, aren't we? We are all kind of cautious. And okay, so let's go back here. Let's see the games for the rest of the league, and let's give us some quick score predictions before we wrap up the show. Let me find, where is the Premier League? Where is the Premier League? Competitions. Here's the Premier League. Let me know what you guys are saying. Right, so let's zoom in on this. Can't wait for Saturday, honestly. So Arsenal and Forest kick things off at 12:30. Is it? It is, yeah. Thought that was Sunday for a minute. What's you guys' score predictions? I think with Ange taking over at Forest as well, I hope he doesn't do this high line straight away. That would be insane. If I was him, I'll do what Arne Slot did at Liverpool and not to change too many things. But can you rely on Ange to do that? I don't know. I do think Arsenal still win the game. I've got Arsenal 3-1 against Forest. Arsenal 3-1 versus Forest. Martin Bland says 2-2. Draw. He sees a 2-2 draw. Yeah, he said, yeah, Martin Bland says he sees a 2-2 draw, new manager bounce. May spoil the Arsenal party. Is it going to be a new manager bounce? Because from what I hear, Nuno was well respected and well liked by the players. It was more of a problem that Nuno had with the top brass, really, isn't it? Maybe it's going to be a weird one either way you look at it, isn't it? You know, Juniesa says it's who we are, mate. It's going to be it's who we are, isn't it? The next, if Newcastle weren't playing at 3 o'clock, Brighton, Bournemouth. If Newcastle played in the morning in the excuse me at 12:30 or at 5:30, and there was a 3 o'clock game for me to look at to watch to choose from, I'll be looking at Bournemouth Brighton. I think that's going to be I like both teams. I like both their styles of play. It's going to be at Bournemouth, and I really like both teams. Who have you guys got? I can see this being a tight affair, but I'll give it 2-1 to Bournemouth. 2-1 to Bournemouth. So let me know what you guys' predictions are. Who do you think, what are your score predictions for Bournemouth and Brighton? Let me know in the chat. Next game, Martin Bland says 2-0. Is that to Bournemouth? Right, that'll be to Bournemouth, isn't it? Yeah, that'll be to Bournemouth. Okay. I think it's going to be a good game. Crystal Palace, Sunderland now. I know where people are going to say 5-0 Crystal Palace. That's the things that we wish. Yeah, I see us winning. Oh, Gary says we have 4 or 5-0 inside. I hope so. Jeanette's going for 1-1 the South Coast rivalry meeting. Yeah, that could happen. Mitch has 1-1 as well. Palace 12-0. I knew that was going to happen. I knew that was going to happen. Someone was going to give a heavy scoreline. It's at Palace. They've sold Eze. Mitch says 2-1 Palace. Mateta. Is Saar playing? That's the question. Yeah, I think Palace. Yeah, 2-0 Palace as Iniesta. I'll go 3-0. I'll go 3-0 Palace. 3-0 Palace. That'll be a good game. Everton, Aston Villa. Everton, Aston Villa. Mr. Grealish is having a revival. This is at Everton as well, their new ground, where they're having a great time at the moment as well. You know, they got Dewsbury Hall, Grealish, Ndiaye. There's a fourth attacker. Not Berta. Is it Berta? Beto. Beto doing his thing as well. They're having a great time attacking. Aston Villa not so great. And not a great transfer window either. I'm gonna get two screens soon. I wish I could see their form and their players. Martin Bland's got 2-1 Everton. I think Everton are having a great time. I think they're having a great party. I can see Everton winning this 3-1. Ginesta says Aston Villa have arguably been the worst side so far. Should be on 0 to 9 points. I would hate to be in their shoes. It's not going great for them at all. At all. All right, so that's Aston Villa, Everton. I see Everton winning 3-1. A few others have said, yeah, 2-0 Everton from Mitch. Smoke has gone 1-0. He's gone to 1-0 for Villa. Are you seeing a little bit of revival for Villa, Smokey? That'll be good. Fulham Leeds, another good game. And at Fulham as well, another really, really good game. Obviously, we just played Leeds as well. I did watch Fulham this year as well. Who did I see Fulham play? Chelsea. And they were desperately, desperately unlucky against Chelsea. Smokey's got it 1-1 with Fulham and Leeds. Mitch has got it 0-0, no goals at all. I think they'll score. That Muniz kid is there as well. And they got that Joshua King. Is it Joshua? Not Joshua King. It's something King. The young lad that's playing for them as well. Martin Bland says that he thinks that Leeds will squeak it 1-0. Juniesta's got it 2-1 to Fulham. I think I got it 2-1 to Fulham as well, Juniesta. I think they're going to have a chip on their shoulder after the whole Chelsea fiasco. And yeah, even though we drew against Leeds, we controlled them away from home. This is them playing away this time at Fulham. It is Joshua King. It is Joshua King. Okay, I thought it can't be Joshua King like the Bournemouth player, former Bournemouth player. It is Joshua King as well. Something about having that name. I've got it 2-1. I got it 2-1 to Fulham. I got it 2-1 to Fulham. And obviously we've talked about Newcastle Wolves. I've given it 2-1 to Newcastle. A few others have given a similar scoreline as well. Someone said, I keep on forgetting, but someone said 3 or 4-0 Newcastle. Was it Gary? I think Gary said it. So he's the one. He's seeing us. It'll be great if we got that, especially before the Barcelona game. It'll be absolutely phenomenal if we got that. So scroll down a little bit. Okay, so next up, West Ham Tottenham. Martin Bland 4-2 back and forth. Is that for Newcastle? Who playing Wolves? Is that for Newcastle Wolves? Let me know. Is that for Newcastle Wolves? It can't be for Newcastle Wolves. Spurs 3-0. Spurs 3-0 against West Ham. West Ham, who did West Ham beat recently? West Ham beat someone. They whooped someone recently. Wasn't it Forest? They beat Forest 3-0. Yeah, Newcastle. You see a 4-2. You see Wolves scoring 2 goals against us. I can't see it, man. I don't want to see it. Maybe because I don't want to see it. Ginesta's got it 1-1 against for Tottenham West Ham. The way Bournemouth made Tottenham look. Bournemouth. I don't know if you guys watched that game. Bournemouth Tottenham. Mitch has got it. No, Smokey's got it 2-0 Tottenham. Mitch has got it 2-1 Tottenham. As long as we score more, that's the important thing, isn't it, Mitch? Can see West Ham giving Spurs a game. I wonder what happened to. I wish I saw the West Ham Forest game. Was it because Forest weren't playing well, or is it because West Ham just stepped it up? What clicked for West Ham in that game? I haven't seen. I only saw the only West Ham game I saw this season was West Ham against Chelsea. Again, I've seen a lot of Chelsea games, and oh gosh, they got turned over. But they won 3-0 the last game. Tottenham. I saw the Tottenham Bournemouth game. Bournemouth's press is just amazing. Amazing the way they press. West Ham don't press like that. They don't have the legs for it. It's at West Ham as well, but their stadium doesn't even feel like a home stadium. Someone said 4-1, didn't they? I'll go 4-1 Tottenham. I think they'd want to get back on the winning horse as soon as possible. Adrian says, can see West Ham giving Spurs a game. That is possible as well. I think so. Even though I got a 4-1 scoreline. Martin Bland says they were terrible against. I missed that one. They were terrible against Sunderland in the opener. They were. Mitch says, I think we win 1 or 2-0. Great performance. 2-0 would be a brilliant scoreline for us, honestly. But get a breakthrough post 60 minutes and kill the game in the last 15 would love an early. I love 2 goals in the first 15 minutes, and then Wolves want to go home, damage limitation, and we can rotate our players. I would love that, but We'll see. Brentford Chelsea no, still Monday kickoff 8 p.m. That's a good way to finish off the weekend actually. Brentford Chelsea at Brentford. Again, I think Chelsea were fortunate in the game against Fulham, but I saw them against West Ham as well. I thought they had a terrific game against West Ham. Who else did I see Chelsea play? Did I see Chelsea play? I can't remember actually. I haven't seen Brentford play this season. Ginesta's gone 3-2 Chelsea. They got the thing coming up. Let me, it's not now. Why was it taking it off? Here we go. Yeah, here we go. Can you guys see that? Yeah, you can. Ginesta's got it 3-2 Chelsea. Smokey's got it 2-1 Chelsea. Martin Bland's got it 3-1 Chelsea. Brentford had a win recently, didn't they? I saw them play twice this season actually as well. Was it twice? I saw them play against... I forgot who I saw them play against. I don't think it's going to be straightforward for Chelsea. We're going to find out. I'm going to go 1-1. Yeah, Mitch says... No, Martin Bland says 3-1 Chelsea. Yeah, Mitch says 2-1 Chelsea. Okay, I'm going to go for 1-1. Burnley, Liverpool, Sunday kickoff, 2 p.m. Do we see Isak starting this game? I think they'll continue with Ekatike, to be fair. Gary says 3-0 halftime score for the Toon, absolutely. Smokey gives it 3-0 Liverpool. Ginesta sees it 4-1 Liverpool. Yeah, I think Ekatike starts. Isak comes on last 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Probably gets a goal as well, actually. Someone says 3. Do I see Liverpool conceding? I can, but I don't think it's going to be that bad. Mitch says 3-1 Liverpool. Martin Bland says 4-2 Liverpool. They will score, but I think Burnley can get at them. Maybe. I can't see it. I'll go 3-0 Liverpool. And the final game, the big one for the Sunday anyway, Man City, Man United at the Etihad, 4:30 kickoff. City have got a lot of injuries. Mamouche being one of them. There was somebody else they've got off as well. They've got a couple of players that are not playing. And I've watched a couple Man City games. Saw Man City against Brighton. I saw the first half of Man City against Brighton. I thought, Man City looked good. I can't remember why I couldn't finish the second half, but then I was so surprised. I went to church, that's why. And then I saw the second half. When I saw the second half scoreline, I couldn't believe it. But Martin Bland's got it 5-1. City, Haaland hat-trick. Wow. Smokey, 5-0. Are we just hoping? We just want to see Man United get buried? Ginesta to draw in the derby. Man City got loads of injuries. They've got tons of injuries. And Man United can defend when they want to. Mbuemo and Cunha are going to be troublesome for that Man City midfield. Are Man City going to score though? So the only person is Haaland. When you got 4-2 Man City, I'm going to go for a 1-1. I'm going to go for a 1-1. I got it 1-1. All right, guys. Absolute Cunha. Oh, is it? I don't know. He's injured. He's injured. Let me just, while I'm on here. Let's see. They haven't got Cunha starting. They've got Mbuemo starting. I could have just went to the here. It's long. Yeah, Cunha's a doubtful. Cunha is doubtful. I can see it 1-1. 1-1 or 2-1 City. Do you know what? 2-1 City. I've got it 2-1 City. I've got it 2-1 City. Adrian's got it 4-4. Martin Brand says, one thing I know is that Cisco will do some lovely high jumps. Right, folks, you've been absolutely phenomenal. We did a tactical breakdown for the Wolves game. Really focused in on the low block situation, on the low block phase of the game, which I think we'll see. Can Newcastle break down? What can Newcastle do in order to break down that low block as well? It's pulled a hammy, has he? Okay. And there's a lot of things that Newcastle can do. We've also noticed that Newcastle got a lot of players, quality players as well, that can give us tactical flexibility. We weren't even debating who's going to start, rotations, everything, and that's just we can do that because we've got a squad, guys. We can debate. Does Livramento go on the right, Trippier on the bench? We can debate, does Ramsey start or does Joe Linton start? We can debate, is it Voldemort and Wissa, or is it going to be Wissa and, we're going to do a 4-3-3 and stuff like that because we've got players. Absolutely phenomenal for us, isn't it? So we talked about a tactical breakdown for the Wolves game. We gave our score predictions. Did I say 2-1? I think I said 2-1 for Newcastle United. I think most of us predicting a win as well. That's the hope for that Barcelona game. And I can't wait to do the tactical review for the Barcelona game. If Mitch is still here, I'm going to invite Mitch. Mitch, if you're around, it'd be great to have you on for that tactical breakdown for the Barcelona game. Yes, someone said drop whether I'll sleep a like as well, a sub as well. That's Mitch's channel. Phenomenal guy. I'm going to make sure we're going to have him on as well. Hopefully, if we can get him on. 26 likes, by the way, superb ratio. And that's I think most of the show have been below 20, and to get 26 likes, absolutely phenomenal. He says, providing the soundtrack to my drive home. Thank you, bro. Big up yourself. Thank you. See, that's what I like, guys. Let me know where you guys are listening from. What are you driving home from work? Are you about to go to? You just need some background noise while you're cleaning the car or something. Whatever you're doing, let me know. Phenomenal. Yes, we've got Mr. Mitch. He's gonna come on the show. We're gonna do a tactical review for the Barcelona game. That's gonna be exciting. So, all right, 2-1 predictions, and we did our predictions for the rest of the seats for the rest of the games as well. You guys have been absolutely phenomenal, despite my dodgy camera at the beginning. It's held up now, which is brilliant. But you guys have been absolutely phenomenal. Whatever you are, whatever you're doing, as always, folks, make sure you look after each other. Make sure you have a great, whatever you're doing, whether it's about to go to sleep or about to go to work, returning from work, whatever you're doing, make sure you have a great time. Make sure, as always, folks, look after each other. And as always, God bless, folks.